Hey everyone, welcome back to the Geek Corner. That's right, I got the bat hat back on today because we are talking about Suicide Squad. Minor spoiler alert, Batman's in it. Yeah, just for a little bit, but it's really cool. I'm not sure if you guys have checked it out yet. I've delayed putting this video out because I want to really talk about it a bit more than just do a review on it. So for the first part of this video, I'm going to keep it spoiler free. Then I'll give you a little spoiler warning in case you haven't seen it yet. You should probably stop the video at that point. But I want to talk a bit more about the details about Suicide Squad after that. So just to give you kind of an overview or my short review of it, I really enjoyed this movie. It is not a perfect movie. I mean, granted, you could say that just about any movie that comes out, but there are some things that are a little bit clunky in this film. The art direction, I kind of feel mixed about. It's weird because they're kind of using a lot of crazy colors and crazy fonts and cartoon stuff, all splashing all over the screen. And I think that's fun for an intro segment. I think it's fun for maybe end credits. But there's a little more of that in this movie than I thought kind of suited the tone of this movie. And don't get me wrong, I think you can use that stuff really effectively. If anyone remembers Tank Girl from back in the day, they did some really cool things with integrating that same type of artwork during the actual film. But in certain places here, it felt just a little bit jarring to me personally. I think the cast overall is pretty good. Let me just start by saying I am not a big Jai Courtney fan. I have this feeling, and I've heard a lot of people talk about this online, that Hollywood keeps jamming this guy into things and trying to push him at us. Hey look, here's Jai Courtney. Hey, you want him in a Terminator movie? Here's Jai Courtney. And first of all, let me just say I really didn't like him in the Terminator movie. But in this film, he does a little bit better of an acting job, I think, because in this film he's actually acting. It's kind of the first time that we've seen that from him. So if you see other reviews of Suicide Squad, people seem to be gushing about him finally doing some, what I consider pretty basic level acting work. He puts on an accent, folks. It's really not an Academy Award-winning thing. Outside of that, though, the problem I have, he plays Captain Boomerang. That character is completely inconsequential to this whole film. If you get to the end of this movie and think back on Captain Boomerang, you might remember a few kind of visual gags that you maybe are entertaining in some way or you think might be funny. But if you cut him right out of the film, you lose absolutely nothing in terms of the narrative. You lose absolutely nothing in terms of all the action. Once again, I don't know how this happens. It's almost like there's this secret room in Hollywood where people are sitting around. They're like, but look, we have to have Jai Courtney in this movie. So just write a character and we'll have him show up for a couple days. I don't know if he's the kid of someone famous. I mean, I just don't understand how this happens. But he is playing a totally useless character in this movie. Visually, the film feels good. It kind of looks a little bit to me like Batman versus Superman. It's got, a lot of dark elements that are going on in terms of the sets. The costume design is pretty cool. I really like Jared Leto's Joker, particularly how they dress him. And the way he performed it was really, really good. There was one scene in particular there where I think it felt like they dubbed all of the dialogue for that scene later. I don't want to tell you what scene it is. It's weird because we were seeing such great performances from him, and then there's one scene where it's like, wait, is he doing the same voice? And how come they're not showing his face? They're showing him saying things, but they're only showing his eyes. It was really, really clunky, but outside of that, overall, I thought he did a great job. Something you're going to see on a lot of other reviews are people complaining that there is not enough Joker in this. I do think there was plenty of Joker in this. I really kind of don't get that complaint. Maybe he could have been a bigger part of the core story. He's kind of like a B storyline that's going on in this. I think that might have made some of the fans happier, but quite honestly, I thought there was plenty of him in there. And much in the same way that Batman in Batman vs. Superman made me more excited for a true Batman film, the Joker in this film makes me more excited for the Joker to show up in a true Batman film. And that's a kind of weird thing that's going on with these movies. we've got two movies now where it almost feels like the purpose or a big part of the reason for that movie existing is to set up something happening later. And I don't know if that's the best approach for making these types of movies. But all in all, I really enjoyed it. There are certainly some fun action sequences. It's great to see Will Smith kind of back in form. Like, I just feel like, oh wow, this feels like one of those old Will Smith mega blockbusters that I used to love, where he'd be cracking jokes and stuff like that. His sensibility and the respect that he pays to the script works really, really well in this movie. There are some really good visual effects. Not everyone is happy with the main antagonist in the film, but I thought it was serviceable. It was a little simplistic in terms of a story, but there was enough there that I really enjoyed it. And as a matter of fact, I am actually planning on going and seeing it again, and it has been a long time. I can't think of the last time there was a movie in the DC universe that I saw in the theater more than once. And I'm certainly going to check this one out again. So for me personally, I really, really liked it. I know there's a lot of naysayers out there about it. I don't know quite what they were expecting out of it, but for the things that I was expecting, fun, a new look into some characters we haven't seen brought to the big screen before. Of course, Margot Robbie? I think it's Margot Robbie. Harley Quinn is amazing. It's great to see that character realized in an actual film. It would be great if she also shows up in a solo Batman and Joker movie, which I'm really keeping my fingers crossed for. But all in all, I just enjoyed it, man. It was just simple fun at the movies. That's what it's about, right? So I think you probably wouldn't be in too bad a shape to check out Suicide Squad. It's probably still going to be in the theaters for at least a couple of weeks in most major theaters. So by the time you see this, I think you still got some time to check it out, just in case you ruled it out based on all that early buzz. I really don't know what that early buzz was about. I certainly enjoyed this film a lot more than Batman vs. Superman for one major thing. This film is fun. It's just fun. All right, so that is it for my non-spoilery section. So warning, 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 if you haven't seen it, please stop the video here because I'm going to get into some more details and kind of back what I've said a little bit with some details about the storyline. So first of all, let me start off by saying I don't know how true this is, but I did hear that there was two distinct edits of the film. There was one done by the director, David Ayers, and there was another done by a company that is called Trailer Park. They actually, they are in a building I used to work in Hollywood. That used to be the TV Guide building. Now it's the Trailer Park building with their sign up on top of it. But they are known for making trailers. And apparently those trailers were so good that came out, somehow someone made a deal with them to make a full cut of this film. I believe that the introduction of this film is part of their cut. And I have to say it's a little jarring. It feels almost like a Michael Bay production. It's almost like some type of long-form music video. But the real problem I have with it is the kind of fun gimmick that we saw in the trailers of using licensed music is jammed into the start of this movie, where you're literally hearing a different licensed song like every minute or so. Like they'll play 1 minute of one song, show someone's intro, then there's a different song for a different character, then there's a different song for a different character. By about the fourth time I heard a different song, I was just burnt on that whole idea. It literally was taking me out of the movie. I was like, great, what crappy old song am I gonna have to hear now for this next character coming up? And that's another thing that it shows the age of people that are making films and responsible for these decisions in Hollywood. The art that they're regurgitating in terms, particularly for licensing music, it's way older than even stuff that I like. So I don't know. I feel like there's guys in their 60s and 70s making these movies. I seriously do. Isn't there some cooler, at least a little more recent music that we could put in there than stuff from the 70s? Come on. But luckily, that chunk that feels kind of jarring and disjointed from the rest of the movie is pretty finite. It kind of feels like maybe the first 10 or 15 minutes are that Trailer Park edit, and then it goes into more of what I think is a better filmmaker's edit of this movie. And there's something very cool that also turned into a missed opportunity in this movie. There is some subtle subcontext going on in it that really reminds me of reading a comic book, which I really haven't had this experience in a film before. And if David Ayers was doing this on purpose, I think it's kind of genius, but I think that they missed out on capitalizing on it. When I read a comic book, sometimes there's so little dialogue, and sometimes I'll kind of skim over the panels. I won't really take what's happening in with each panel, and I'll read the dialogue, and I'll get to this point where I'm like, whoa, I'm missing something. And then I'll go back and look at the panels, and I'll say, oh, they were trying to tell me that this is going on by showing, this picture of this happening up here. There's a subcontext in this movie that's going on about the foe that the Suicide Squad is facing. And that is that the foe is also created by Amanda Waller. And for some reason, even though that is a pretty cool, interesting storyline, something where the Suicide Squad could certainly rebel against Amanda Waller by the end of this film, it gets completely dropped. Like, nobody deals with that issue whatsoever. The Suicide Squad, I don't remember a particular scene where they even talk about that dynamic, about, well, hey, how did this person get all their power? How did all this get started? So it kind of leaves me in this weird place of feeling like, well, the Suicide Squad isn't so smart. Although I have a feeling, and I'm really hoping, that when we get a Blu-ray DVD release of this, we will see a director's cut. And it feels to me like there's some scenes that were chopped out. It would have only taken a couple lines of dialogue to really pull that kind of hidden story thread up to the forefront. And that, I think, would have really easily squashed all of these critics that are saying that there is no plot to this movie, because I actually saw a plot in the movie, but I saw that it wasn't quite addressed and it wasn't really fleshed out by the end. Something that I feel is a little silly in this movie in terms of the timing of the events that happen in it are Amanda Waller decides that, well, we got to put this squad together because what happens if there's another Superman? So she starts putting the squad together. Then she kind of accidentally creates the threat that is another Superman that is evil, and now she needs to use a squad that it's just a good lucky thing that she was putting that together. In terms of coincidences of the universe, it is just way too far-fetched. I wish that they would have rearranged the order of those events so that the threat was imminent first. Then she went and mobilized this team and pulled them together. And the threat, admittedly, was a little weak in terms of how the character was designed. You have this sorceress that's resurrected her brother, and her brother is this kind of big, powerful dude, and then we get another one of those. And I can't believe that Hollywood hasn't recognized that this is a cliche yet. We get another one of those scenes where there's a giant blue light shooting up into the sky that's threatening all of humanity. Please stop. Stop with the giant blue lights shooting in the sky. That was the only thing where I rolled my eyes. And if you've watched my reviews, that's my little indicator for, hey, something just went wrong in this film. As soon as I saw that lightning turned into a big blue beam, I had a little eye roll of, oh no, not another beam in the sky. And the beam in the sky was interesting because it kind of reminds me of the bat signal, and we've already had Batman show up in this film and this universe, and it started this nagging question in the back of my head about, why are the Suicide Squad left to deal with this? Why is there not heavy hitter superheroes that are coming to figure out, hey, what's that big giant blue beam that's shooting up in the sky and this evil that's taking over everyone that's around it? It felt a little weird that they really didn't have what I thought was a reasonable excuse for why there wasn't some type of superhero. And there's actually two. I won't spoil it. Well, we're in the spoilers, I can't. You had the Flash show up also. And even if this is taking place in another city, this is in the same universe. At least news of this giant blue beam in the sky should have gotten around to Gotham or to Central City. So I didn't quite understand where were the heroes in this. Along those same lines, the Suicide Squad weren't used for their unique aspect of being bad guys. They were essentially people that we knew were bad guys because of the history we were told about them, but as soon as they were freed and forced to do the right thing, they were effectively just being good guys. And that, I think, is a little bit of a misunderstanding about what the Suicide Squad could be. You know, there was one good aspect in having the Diablo character, because quite honestly, that's one of the few characters that actually had any terms of serious character development in this whole movie. So having him go through this arc of realizing that he was a bad guy, he's really trying to straighten himself out, he has to get his powers back, but he does them only to basically save humanity. That was a very cool story arc. But all the other characters kind of go along for the same ride. In particular, in the scene where they're in the bar, it's like, hey, we're really supposed to feel for these characters now. Hey, look, bad guys are really good people too. And I don't know that that's what people that think of Suicide Squad really think of for that property. And finally, the Joker. I think if the Joker was the main antagonist in this film, people would have been a lot happier. Or if he was even just a core part of the film where the Suicide Squad got together, for some reason they had, some type of orders or had worked with the Joker before and they felt compelled to release him, so they kind of do a splinter mission where they go and get him. Something along those lines that would pull him into their focus might have really helped that problem with the script. But, him and Harley's love story and then him ultimately trying to come and rescue her from this situation, I thought it was reasonable. I thought it was enough. I think we want to see Jared in that character again. I think we will see him in that character again, and then we'll get a good full dose of what he can do in that role. So that's it. Did you see it? Tell me what you think about it in the comments below. Have a great day. I'll catch you on the next show on the Geek and Dorks channel, and take care.